Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you must be wondering, where the fuck has World of Wrestling been the last couple of weeks? Well, first of all, I've been really busy with work and everything else, and last week I got really caught up in the video game of WWE 2K16, so I was really into that. Unfortunately, there's some glitch, which I will talk about in an episode tomorrow with my friend Matthew, my co-host, about this kind of situation going on with the WWE 2K16 game, which I will be getting a new show called every Tuesday night. Me and my host, my co-host, will be doing a episode of Random Wrestling Talk. So that will be coming out every Tuesday. We will be doing this over the phone. Sooner or later, once we figure out how to do it on the Google Hangout, we'll start uploading videos from Google Hangout onto this YouTube channel. If anyone knows how to do that, please let me know. I'd be more than happy. I'd be very appreciative if you guys could do that, because I'd like to have both me and my co-host be involved in this video at the same time, as well as try to do it live as well, so that you guys could actually witness it live and in living color. Anyway, starting with our first ever episode, I'm going to try to do this every single week. It's called My Personal Opinion. And today we're doing My Personal Opinion episode number 1 on the WWE Championship belts and whether or not Roman Reigns, in my personal opinion, is worthy and ready to be as a WWE champion. So, starting off, let's go ahead and get into the things about these damn titles, okay? These titles don't mean shit anymore. Back in the day, we used to see the world title, the Intercontinental, the European, the tag team titles, even the women's championship, given more meaning than it is today. You go back in the 1990s, even the early 2000s, and even into the mid-2000s, and my God, they had a purpose on the show. Today, wins and losses don't mean shit. Statistics don't mean nothing. It's just a random load of bullshit thrown in our face, and we're just supposed to accept that. Well, for me, I don't. As you all know, if you have followed my channel throughout the entire several months that I started this channel back in February, if you have followed me all the way through up to now, you know I do not accept the garbage that's fed to me by WWE. So, personally, I feel that the titles today are not given the proper build, the proper prestige it deserves. They don't give us meaning to these fucking titles. Now, I don't want to make this a WWE storyline rant video or anything like that, but come on, people, we all know the truth. WWE storyline writers have no creativity anymore. They suck. They don't care about professional wrestling. Vince McMahon himself says he doesn't give a shit about wrestling either. Gives a shit about entertainment. Well, my friend, if you want to get involved in entertainment, maybe you should get out of professional wrestling. Yes, it is entertainment. At one time, you used to do entertainment and professional wrestling, which is what Triple H does with NXT. He puts meaning behind those titles. The tag team titles, the women's title, and the fucking NXT World Championship title. They all have a purpose on the show. The wins and losses mean something. We go ahead, we have a match with Dolph Ziggler and John Cena for the United States title. Outstanding match. Unbelievable. Did Dolph Ziggler get the hand raised for the U.S. title? No. He loses. But the man who shows up out of nowhere, Alberto Del Rio, wins the championship by just kicking John Cena in the face in a lackluster, it was a good match, but it was meaningless. It was just a filler-in match to just give the title to somebody, when it would have been more meaningful and got a lot more excitement and praise out of it if Dolph Ziggler would have won the United States title on Monday Night Raw, then have a rematch with John Cena and retain the damn US title against Cena and maybe even become a heel. When John Cena came back, John Cena competes again for the US title against Dolph Ziggler. These two guys have had outstanding matches with each other. I do not understand the purpose of what they were doing here with the US title and John Cena and Del Rio. I mean, they still could have put the title on Del Rio, but John Cena should have been kicking out of that kick at Hell in a Cell. And maybe make John Cena pass out from a submission hold, or or just do something that was a little bit more meaningful than what they did. I mean, it didn't have no purpose, in my opinion. I didn't think that the match should have even happened. I think Dolph Ziggler should have been the U.S. champion going in, defending it in a rematch against Cena, and retaining the belt against Cena as well, with Cena walking off and being out of commission for a few months until he comes back. So I totally disagree on that. That's one thing about the one championship that was built up very well by John Cena and then crashed by Del Rio. But it wasn't really Del Rio's fault either. Del Rio shouldn't even be champion. Del Rio should have been introduced in a different way, and that's it. So Del Rio and this mixture with fucking Zeb Coulter is just idiotic. I think it's kind of cool, but with the history that they have, it's just crap, you know? So, personally, again, statistics don't mean nothing. History doesn't mean nothing to WWE anymore. The WWE Championship, that used to be prestigious. European title, back in the day, European title was an outstanding belt. It was given meaning, purpose through Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Shawn Michaels, Triple H even. I mean, shit. Kurt Angle had a decent run with it for a month or two. They had some decent champions. William Regal was an outstanding European champion. And they put prestige in those belts. Even the small ones. The hardcore title was a meaningful belt. Even though, it was tossed around back and forth. But it was a belt that was defended 24/7. It wasn't a belt that you just won randomly because you were given a match to face and they lost it. It was at any given time, making the belt seem to be more challenging to hold on to than anything else, because the belt was defended all the time. It didn't have to be sanctioned, nothing. All you had to do was have a referee come with you and knock your opponent out senseless until he can't answer the count of 3 after you pin him. So that even in itself brought prestige to even the hardcore championship. And when anyone held on to it longer than a few days or a couple of weeks, Rob Van Dam did an outstanding job holding on to the hardcore title. He had it for, I think, probably the longest reigning outside of a few other guys, where he held it for like 2 or 3 months straight without losing the belt, and then regained it back and then held it on for another month or two. I mean, they have done outstanding things with the older championships. But then you look at the tag team titles. Go ahead and look at them. Alright? We'll take them for example. Throughout this entire year, that tag team title has meant diddly shit. That title's been tossed around between New Day, team prime time players, and all this shit. The Cesaro and Tyson Kidd had the belts. The fucking Jay and Jimmy Uso, the Usos had the belts. Freaking A, man. I mean, just The Miz and freaking Damien Sandow had the tag team titles. Shitty fucking tag teams that haven't been built up. The only teams that have been worthy of holding those tag titles are the Usos and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. outside of those two tag teams, the New Day has been developing into something. I have to give them credit. Despite the fact I do not like them, they have been doing a very decent job carrying themselves with the belts, acting goofy and being a comic relief. But they aren't tag team champion material. You compare them to the fucking gosh darn Dudley Boys, and there's no comparison. To be quite frankly, be frank and truthful with you guys, be blunt. The fucking Dudley Boys should be the tag team champions by now. Okay? Maybe a little sudden, maybe a little quick, but let me tell you something. The Dudley Boys should be the champions. They should be holding on to those belts, and they should be the ones being the champs, not the chasers of the belts. That's what should be going on here. The Dudley Boys should be the champions, making the New Day chase after the Dudley Boys, bringing them more popularity, bringing them more intrigue by the audience. Even though they've gotten intrigue now as heels, they could be looked at as even better tag team. They're constantly coming close, but they keep falling short. The Dudley Boys start gaining respect from them, and they keep giving them rematches since there's really nobody in the tag team division at that point in time. But quite frankly, the Dudley Boys should be the tag team champions right now. New Day should be taking a more serious role, and they're the tag team champions. That's crap. You don't do that. You have a serious tag team carrying the belts. Not some joked out comic relief tag team carrying around your tag team titles. They're not a serious team. They're just a joke off team carrying around belts and being lucky all the time or cheating to win. It's utterly ridiculous. That's number one. Number two, the Intercontinental Championship is being fucked up to shit. Okay? We first had Daniel Bryan, perfect pick. He was a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's had series of great matches throughout his career in WWE. He has gone ahead and done everything possible to put prestige in belts. And they picked the right one. Unfortunately got injured. So what do we get? We get a Elimination Chamber match. Ryback becomes the champion. And Ryback's given a screw job up the yin-yang. Not to mention, not too many people are behind or support Ryback in his wrestling skills. At least hardcore fans. Me personally, I think there is potential in the guy. I just think that he doesn't have what it takes to be a world champion, I guess. But he has the muscle, he has the build, he has the look, but he just does not have everything else to be a champion. So, Kevin Owens is now the champ. Great pick. One small problem. When he was first coming into the WWE main roster, that's when he should have been an Intercontinental or U.S. champion. Because then he would put prestige behind those belts. This character he's playing now is completely different when he first came in. When he first came in, he was a badass heel, didn't give a shit about nothing, went straight through John Cena and whipped his ass. He did it in all 3 matches, never quit, never gave up. He just happened to lose the last 2 times. Then after he faced John Cena, it was like his character, what they originally had him as, was buried and dead. Now he's a great character, he's a good wrestler, but he's a coward. He runs away, he doesn't finish off matches the way he should, and he's just a little queer with a championship belt. That's not what you do. And then that brings me to Seth Rollins. He's the World Heavyweight Champion. He beat Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in the same night in a triple threat match while cashing in after they beat the shit out of each other at WrestleMania 31 in a really classic match, despite the fact that it was most of the time a one-sided affair. We go ahead and we have Seth Rollins win the title, and since then, it's been nothing but a little whiny little bitch. Getting lucky here and there, and sometimes showing some class of, courage and confidence in himself to be an individual to retain his belt without having other interferences and everything else. You take Triple H, this is what this guy's being trained to be like. Seth Rollins is being trained to be like a new version of Triple H. A guy that puts on great matches. He's not a brawler, he's not muscular bound big. He's pretty well fit, but he's a guy that knows how to wrestle, but should have the personality of a Triple H since he's being mentored by Triple H anyway. Guy that has a cutthroat attitude, will stomp your ass into the ground and will find any way necessary to win the match in a no-holds-barred type attitude. That's the way Seth Rollins should be produced. That's the way Seth Rollins should be acting. That's the way Seth Rollins should be week in and week out as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Instead, he's trotting around most of the time, worried off his ass, doesn't know what to do, turning to Kane, turning to this, turning to that, kissing up to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And guess what? Triple H had Eric Bischoff back in the day, but he didn't kiss Eric Bischoff's ass. He didn't walk around scared all the time. Yeah, he had some little concerns. I'll give you an example of Triple H once in a rivalry. Booker T. He had doubts. He thought that Booker T had his number in all cases. He had a right to think that way. 4 weeks in a row, he couldn't even beat the son of a bitch. And then he had to go ahead and do whatever was necessary. Ric Flair helped him win. That's what he did. That makes sense. That's understandable. But Seth Rollins, this guy has had countless of matches where he is just a fucking scaredy cat. He has no freaking momentum in any of his matches. That's another thing. He does not win any fucking matches on Monday Night Raw, or I don't even know about SmackDown. I haven't watched SmackDown on a week-to-week basis in a while. But he ain't being pushed the right way. He ain't the type of champion that should be the way he is. He should be a guy with confidence, carry himself well, and be a champion the way a champion should be. As a heel, at least. I mean, you expect him to cheat? Of course. You expect him to maybe possibly look for shortcuts? Of course you're going to see that. But at least in some of the matches, have some confidence in retaining the fucking championship. Randy Orton is a guy that went ahead, had some lack of courage in himself at times, depending on the type of, person he's facing. Shawn Michaels was definitely one of them. Chris Jericho was one of them at one point at Armageddon in 2007. Faced Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy seemed like he had his number, but he walked away winning the match fair and square and walked out as the WWE champion. So, he won WrestleMania 24 in 2008. The guy, that heel right there is another demonstration of how a heel should be as a champion. And that's the way Seth Rollins is not being placed as. He did great against Kane. I gotta give him that much. The match wasn't much, but he played very well in that match. Didn't make a lot of sense because the way Kane was whipping his ass week after week, and then in the pay-per-view, he came out with guns blazing, having the attitude that he knows he was gonna win regardless. But me personally, I think it's time they put some more swagger in this guy's attitude and have more confidence in himself and not be fearful of his opponents all the time. Now, that brings down the championship because you're having Seth Rollins carrying around a belt while he's scared off his ass and he carries the belt all the way through. I mean, that's just nuts. But, so we get to Roman Reigns. Big question is, and I've heard this on other YouTube channels, is Roman Reigns ready? And a lot of them say, no, he ain't. I'm going to say the complete opposite. I'm not going to say he's ready. I don't know if he's ready. That's my personal opinion. But here's my personal feelings on the subject. Why not give the guy a shot with the title? See how he does. Give him a month. If he's not doing well, he ain't bringing enough people to, be interested in him being a champion, take the belt away from him. Make him work for it again. What's wrong with that? Winning titles, losing them, testing it out. You got to test the waters, man. You got to have some faith in yourself to give these guys an opportunity to prove themselves. And Roman Reigns, I personally feel, has had a good year. Not a great year. Not yet. He's had some pretty damn awesome matches. He's improved week after week, month after month, since WrestleMania 31. He had a great match with Daniel Bryan the month before that. He had a great match with Brock Lesnar. A great match with Big Show. He carried Big Show through that fucking Extreme Rules match that he had. It was unbelievable. I enjoyed that match extremely, and I thought it was going to be a sleeper fucking match. So I was shocked by that. Bray Wyatt and him, that was shit. Let me see here. What else? We had him facing the Wyatt family with Dean Ambrose. That was a good match. The Night of Champions shit. And this Hell in a Cell match that he had with Bray Wyatt was good. Was good. It was a very good 3.54 out of 5 stars type of match. And unfortunately, I did not do a review on that. I do apologize to all my viewers and subscribers about that. But again, like I said earlier, I was doing some other stuff. But let's not go off topic here. Let's stick to what we were talking about. Do I believe Roman Reigns deserves to be the WWE Champion, or is he ready to be WWE Champion? My answer to that is, why not give him a shot? That's my answer. Why not just give it to him? Give him the ball and let's see how he runs with it. Give him the title. That's it. Make him feud with Dean Ambrose. If he ain't doing so good with, Roman Reigns ain't doing so good, make him lose the belt to Dean Ambrose. Give Dean Ambrose a fucking shot. Dean Ambrose is a good, character. He's a good wrestler. He's a great performer. He's great at acting like a crazy lunatic. And I think he's more than likely going to turn heel. So why not give him a shot as being the champion? And at some point, make them, all 3 of them, challenge for the WWE title in a triple threat match. That will be a classic match. I don't think one single person would be disappointed watching that match. And guess what? Those 3 men have had a triple threat match before. While back in FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, before they went defunct. Okay? And I saw that on YouTube. They had an outstanding match in that. And they weren't even nobodies then. And now they are somebodies. And you put that on the biggest stage of them all. I mean, yeah, granted, we've seen 2 back-to-back triple threat matches at WrestleMania. But this would be the all-time best triple threat match being held on the fucking biggest stage of WrestleMania of all time in AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the Dallas Cowboys play. Where you're going to have over 100,000 fucking people possibly watching this, and millions of people around the world watching it. If you don't find that to be an interesting match for WrestleMania 32, for a bunch of young guys who are trying to make something of themselves, you're fucking nuts. Because that would be a great main event WrestleMania match given to a bunch of young guys to be placed on their shoulders to go ahead and put on a great show for all of us to watch. I would love to see that match at WrestleMania 32. I think that would be a great main event nonetheless. But that's just my opinion. Now, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to express your opinion. Say any comments and things down below, and I will get right back to you. That's all there is today. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and have a great night, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.